What is up, you guys? It's New Age Bohemian, and today we're talking about how to stop being so materialistic. So in a society like today's, we revolve around having material objects, from your cell phone in your pocket to the car you drive to the clothes you wear. Pretty much everything in our daily lives has to do with materialism. And these material concepts are very destructive to ourselves in the growing process of becoming a better person, a more spiritual being, however you want to see it. But it's very destructive and it takes away from being a better you. So today we're going to talk about a couple steps or tips for becoming less materialistic in a sense. And we're also going to talk about how the ego has to do with materialism. And lastly, I'm going to touch a little bit based on minimalism, but this isn't a video about minimalism, and I'm not going to tell you guys to become minimalist, but more take some of the ideas from minimalism and incorporate them into your life to be less materialistic. Alright, so let's begin. So one of the most important steps, and the first step in becoming less materialistic and less attached to the material items that you own, is becoming less emotionally attached to them. So many times people will be like, oh, that's my favorite shirt, or I can't live without my phone, or oh yeah, if I don't drive today, I'm gonna kill someone. These ideas of having an emotional attachment to a material thing, for example, your favorite clothing item. If this clothing item, let's say, tears for some reason, you're walking in the street, it gets caught on a fence and it tears, your day's ruined. Can't wear it anymore, and we become upset. By having these attachments to emotional things, we kind of create a personality to these material items. These material items are just items. That's what they are. They have a purpose, and the purpose is to help you do what you need to do with that specific item. For example, a camera. This camera is helping me record these videos. If this camera breaks, its purpose is done. There's no emotional attachment to the camera. The next thing is asking yourself how a specific item, when you're about to buy it, is going to improve your life in some sense. So many times we'll go to the mall, which is a very egotistic place to go, and it's very consumer based, and they just want you to buy and buy more and buy more. But besides the fact that it's very consumer based, you'll go to the mall, let's say you want a t-shirt. You go to the mall with this idea of this one t-shirt, but then you show up at the store and they got like 6 different t-shirts, they're all on sale, and you want to buy all 6. And most people will end up buying all 6 t-shirts. But what you have to think is, how will this item help me in the long run? There's no need to buy something if it's going to serve no purpose. If you already have 3 pairs of jeans, which is more than enough, there's no need to buy a 4th pair of jeans just because the shade is a little bit different. Or because of a shirt, or a bracelet. It doesn't matter what item it is. If you have enough or if you don't need it, there's no need to buy it. So becoming more aware of when you're going to purchase something will give this distance between you and the material item, where you're not going to want things as much as you did when you're like, oh yeah, I need this, I need this, I need this, when you really don't need as many things as you believe that you need. The next thing is realizing that an object will not make you happy. A lot of the times I think of shopping kind of like a gateway to becoming happy, but not in a sense of actual happiness. More like when you're really upset and you get drunk with your friends and then you crash the next day. You realize that when you're upset, you're going to drink. It's going to send different chemicals in your brain. It's going to give you a happy state, it's going to give you adrenaline, and you're going to have fun with your friends, but the next morning when you wake up and you have a hangover and you're just upset, you're going to come back to reality and you're going to realize that that doesn't fulfill you. It doesn't fulfill happiness. Buying things isn't going to fulfill happiness either. You have to realize that the item, once you buy it, you're going to be like, oh yes, I got this, I'm so cool. It's going to feed your ego, and it's going to make you feel like you're happy with this specific item. But what brings you happiness is what the item actually brings to you. For example, I love making YouTube videos, but this camera that I'm filming into isn't making me happy. The act of using this camera to make the video is what makes me happy. By realizing that it won't make you happy, and by buying an object, the object itself won't make you happy, you'll buy things that you can use to become happy, or that gives you enjoyment and fulfillment to yourself and to your actual being, not your egotistic mind. The next thing doesn't really have to do with the buying process or the once you have it process. It has to do more with yourself. So improving your health, not only your actual health, so your diet and your physique, but your spiritual health, your economic health, all your health. So every aspect of your life, making sure it's healthy. Once you have everything, you're going to realize that you don't need that many things and that you're starting to please yourself with things that are free. So if you think that sometimes people think, oh, I look ugly or I feel fat, so they'll go out and they'll buy something that they think is going to make them feel better and look better. So when you start working on your health more than you start caring about what other people think about you, and you start caring more about how you feel, you'll stop caring so much about material items, because you'll realize that material items really have nothing to do with your health in any sort of sense. And going off that, your economic health. Many times we buy things that are way out of our price range. I understand that you can't go and pay cash on a house and be like, okay, I'm done. Obviously, there's things that are way expensive and you have to kind of build credit and you have to pay monthly for a car, a house. But you have to realize an economic standpoint. If you're making minimum wage, don't go out buying a $250,000 house. Start small and grow your way up. Having economic health will help you with small things, such as buying a new camera, buying a new pair of pants, buying a new pair of shoes. If you realize that, whoa, maybe buying this won't be the smartest thing to do right now because I'm on a budget. By being more economically smart and knowing how to use your money, you'll be less attached to wanting to buy things and, oh, I gotta go spend money on this, oh, I gotta spend money on that, oh. And let's say maybe you have a lot of money, that's completely fine. Put it in a savings account. Put it away and be like, okay, well, during the summer I really would like to go on vacation. Knowing how much money you make and knowing how you can separate it correctly, you'll be less attracted and less wanting to buy these material items that you think are going to bring you joy, and you'll start working more on yourself by being smarter. And the last thing, going off of that, being smart with your money, is a lot of the times, especially in these capitalistic countries like America and most of the first world countries, you see signs all the time. You can't even watch it. You probably saw an ad right before this video. You can't watch anything or see or go anywhere without seeing all these ads. Oh, you need this. Oh, you feel this way? Well, if you use this, this will make you feel better. If you buy this, this will make you feel better. Don't fall into those traps. Those traps are just, it happens a lot. I see it a lot with like iPhones. You'll be like, oh, my iPhone works perfectly, but you know the iPhone 7 has these 7 little features that are completely different. They're going to change the phone completely. And then you get it and you're like, it doesn't really make a difference. So you have to step away from this consumer trap that America really started back like 100 years ago, where you have to get the new thing all the time. Just take a step back and be grateful for what you have and work for other things that aren't materialistic. The next thing is the ego. The ego is pretty much how we portray ourselves to others and how others see us. It's our ego. It's our self, but not our true self. It's our covering, our outer layer, what most people will end up seeing about us. So you guys have to realize that when you're buying something, it can't be so that everyone else sees it. You have to buy something because it's actually going to make you feel better in a deep down sense. So you have to realize that you can't buy anything for someone else. And if you like those new pairs of shoes that came out and you need a new pair of running shoes and they're the new pair of running shoes and they fit in your budget, it's okay to buy them. It's not wrong to buy something. It's just you have to think and you have to take a step back to really think if you need it. One of the most important things is by focusing on yourself and on your health, you'll be able to take a step back and become less materialistic. By focusing on yourself and making sure that you're okay and that your health is okay, you'll slowly take away from these material items and you'll be like, you know, I feel so cluttered. I feel like everything's so jammed. Like I need to keep up to date. And once you start focusing on yourself, you won't care anymore. So by focusing on yourself, you're kind of doing the job by itself. You just let it kind of roll and then one day it'll click and you'll be like, you know, I really don't need that pair of shoes that just came out there. It's not going to fulfill me. It's not going to bring me joy in any way. Part of being a minimalist is having less stuff and only having the necessities. But I don't urge anyone to just stop and become a minimalist out of the bloom. Like, it will hurt you. You'll feel completely destroyed and like you just threw away a bunch of stuff that you needed. Once you slowly start feeling that you don't need something, if you don't feel like you need something, give it away. And if you think you kind of need it, and deep down you really know that you don't need it, give it away, and you'll realize that you won't need it. You have to detach yourself, and you'll stop suffering. It's part of Buddhism, something that I practice. But by detaching yourself to these material items, you'll be able to live your life much more happy and not have to worry about if your phone is charged or not, or if your phone cracked, or if your camera's broken, or if you don't have the nicest jacket in school. It won't matter because you'll know what actually matters to you. So I'm gonna leave you guys with that today. So make sure to watch last week's video, subscribe, like the video. Tell me if you guys want to see more videos about this and about detachment, from anything you guys want to hear. So put a comment down below and make sure you guys like and subscribe. Make sure you guys check out my links below. They will be linked, and you guys have a great day.